Through Football Manager, there's always a certain few roles that no one uses, and sometimes they do get a little bit mistreated. Today, we have taken those roles and merged them all in to one tactic, which honestly, it done pretty well. If you do enjoy these sorts of videos, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and once again, you can comment below right now the next video you want to see. And yes, I promise, an Amiram updated tactic is on its way. First up, we're going to start with the weakest team in the video, where it's going to be tested with Bromley, a team predicted to finish quite low down in Sky Bet League 2, a bit of a weak team to be honest, but what I will say is, apart from not the best display in the English Cups, Sky Bet League 2 comes in, and we have done very, very well with a player scoring 52 goals in the league. Now what I will say is, it was very reliant on him getting those goals. Without him, it would have been a different story, but as you'll see with the tactic, it sort of all is set up for this player role up front to go out and be the star man of the team. So make sure you have got a decent striker, but again, a very good season, only losing 4 games overall. 99 goals on the clock as well, not the most goals I've ever scored in a tactic video, but definitely enough to obviously mark up some positive regard. Most shots, most clean sheets, and the fewest conceded makes up for a very, very good set of stats indeed. Now the data hub is going to come in and look like this: 2.15 goals per game, 0.57. Again, we are Bromley. The better we go up in standard of teams, the better the stats of course are going to be, but for an entry start, a good sort of ballpark figure, I'm going to take that. Up next is going to be arguably a tougher test because of the league we're in. It's going to be Brighton, where we have come out and actually won almost every game, losing 1 game in the league, which is going to be against Man City. But I will say we drew 7, and you can see right now there are some nil-nils in there, and this tactic does love a draw. So make sure you're getting all of the variants, because it does include an attacking variant, which we probably should have used with Brighton so we didn't get 7 draws in a season. Now the FA Cup we are going to win on penalties over Manchester United. The Carabao Cup, Tottenham Hotspur, a little bit too strong, but actually going in to this Premier Division, you can see again Evan Ferguson, the striker, being the star man. As I said once again, very important you have got a bagsman up front, because he is going to get fed a lot of chances. And as you can see, bang on 100 goals, 1 more compared to Bromley. Shots going in our favour, fewer shots against, most tackles at 1,000 tackles, most clean sheets and the fewest conceded. That is a good set of stats. Possession wise, not half bad either, coming in with 56% possession, which I will take any single day. The data hub again, the goals have gone up, we have got better attacking players, and although it's not a 3-goal, 4-game sort of region, we are playing as Brighton in the Premier League with some very unique roles, as you're going to see shortly. 0.58 conceded, 16.5 shots per game, a pass completion of 88.73, and a tackle win ratio of 77.88. I think we're going to go watch some highlights, because this tactic, it plays pretty unique. I want to show you this before we go into the highlights, because you can see the team that Man City did put out. It was an absolute powerhouse as per, and we have come out and we've not taken it lightly. We've come out and absolutely stomped them with Evan Ferguson inside of 12 minutes. We're going to go again now with Ferguson into March, into João Pedro, who's going to go through, and the link-up play is looking sublime so far, with João Pedro linking it into Ferguson, into the left-hand side, back into Milner of all mans to go in and make it 3-0, and 1 goal in the last kick of the game, a set-piece special. Of course, for the powerhouse of the video, it is going to be Barcelona over in Spain, which we did use the attacking variant for. And you know what? I'm glad we did, because we win the Super Cup 2-0 over giants Real Madrid. Runners-up in the Spanish Cup, unfortunately falling to Madrid. We win the Champions League 6-5 over Real Madrid. Just going to show that it's fine to concede goals when you're scoring so many. Now that is a very, very niche example, because that is an 11-goal Champions League final, but oh boy, at least we have won it. The Spanish First Division, we also come out and nearly go invincible. Unfortunately, Atletico Madrid gives us a little bit of a hiding to prevent that, but apart from that, a perfect season. Lewandowski with 41 goals, Dani Olmo, the new man from RB Leipzig, 21 assists, and Rafinha, 17, who is looking electric in this game, and of course in real life is absolutely tearing apart anybody he plays. Now stat wise, by far the most goals, 128, and on this occasion the best possession as well, with 62%, the most shots, the fewest shots against, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. This has done a very, very, very good job. And speaking of good job, you can see right now 3.37 goals per game, 0.32 conceded, a 78% tackle win ratio, an 89% pass completion, and not far off 20 shots a game. So with Barcelona, we absolutely cooked. With Brighton, we absolutely cooked. And with Bromley, I won't say we cooked, but we did overachieve. So for me, three sort of test results, three very good signs. Picked up this 8-goal thriller so we can really see some of the goals being scored. As you can see, a set piece there. Now it is going to be Fernan Torres down the right-hand side. A ball in the box into Lewandowski to make it 2. And we're going to go again with another set piece, this time by Koundé. And again, if you haven't got them, go over and get them set pieces because they are absolutely busted as we are going to be scoring countless direct goals there with another cross coming in. A Rauhau into Frankie de Jong down the right-hand side in the middle. A good tip, but it is going to be Koundé who is going to be getting the goal. Can you guess what role he could be in? Little quiz game for you there, as another goal is going to go in at the back post, and at this point we are firing on all cylinders. 2 more goals to come. Christiansen, absolute unit, what a finish that is, and again another set piece. It's as simple as that. But now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video. If you are enjoying, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you are enjoying, whack on that notification bell because it's completely free. And if you enjoy rebuilds, do come over to the second channel. It is just simply called Daily Josh. We're going to have a United rebuild on there soon. So do come over and check that out because United! Stop, you want to go over and change the mentality to attacking because that is what we're playing. Don't touch any of the other team instructions. Leave it nice and blank. And this is where we're going to build this team. Of course, I do want to say, if you want to get access to all of these wonderful perks, which includes all 3 of the tactics today, you get all of my rebuild files, rebuild tactics, one-on-one tactical help, everything early. You get ad-free viewing because all the videos go on there, and access to this month's giveaway, which is £450. You can come on over and get involved in the description below. But let's go over and start talking player roles. So to start with, we are going to utilise a sweeper keeper on defend, which I know necessarily isn't the position that isn't getting not used too much, but for goalkeepers, it's actually pretty reserved. You've only got 2 options, so we have gone with a sweeper keeper simply on defend. Now to the right back, starting probably with one of the more unused positions in the game. That is going to be the inverted fullback on defend. Of course, that new role, and he's going to have one instruction. That is going to be more often when it comes to the trigger press, which of course is therefore going to have him set to close down more. Now, next to him, it's a role you rarely see unless you're doing lower league management, for example. It is going to be a no-nonsense centre-back on defend who is going to have a couple of instructions, and that is going to be close down more and also tackle harder. So the great thing about this is, and sometimes that's why it works in lower league football, is because he isn't going to have shots, he isn't going to dribble. He's going to ping the ball long, he's going to win the ball back aggressively and send the ball. So that is why you are going to see the occasional long ball pass being played if you are using this role. But honestly, I'm not against it. I actually loved using the role in the game. And to partner him, to go with, you know, hot and cold, we are going with the libero, who is going to be set to support, which is the role Koundé was playing in, if anyone did guess right. I guess you get a cookie or something. I don't really know, but well done. And he is simply going to be set to tackle harder. No close down more needed for him. Now on the left back side, again, another role no one really uses. Again, potentially for lower league management, if you've got someone who literally can't go forward and can't really, you know, do much at all when it comes to attacking, a no-nonsense fullback would actually be a decent shout. And he's going to have 2 instructions, close down more and also tackle harder. Very similar to the no-nonsense centre-back, exactly the same. So he's not going to be going forward, he's not going to be crossing, he's going to be nice and reserved, but aggressive when he needs to win the ball back, and then pretty much just send it long because he's got no dribbling qualities, assuming you are using that player role. Now the midfield is going to change a little bit. It's going to look a bit different to your usual 4-2-3-1. It is going to be a register. Now a lot of tactics do use it, but it is still one of the most uncommon compared to a DLP, ball-winning midfield player, DM. It's a bit of a unique one still, and I thought, you know what, we'll get him into the team because we still wanted this tactic to work, so we need to have some decent player roles in there, and this one, well, this one delivered as expected. A register always goes down well on this channel, and hopefully you enjoy it too. But next to him, a different player role is going to be the Carrillo coming in. Now he is of course going to be on a supportive instruction, and he is going to be set to take more passing risks. We've got him also set to tackle harder. So just the 2 instructions being applied for him. And this actually was quite a good midfield pairing. A very unique option, I will say, but it got the job done. And I do think sometimes you've got to test these player roles out, you know. I know they're not the meta ones necessarily, but honestly, some of them I would use again, like the no-nonsense centre-back. If I was playing as a small team or had someone very unconfident on the ball, I would genuinely give it an option. It's not a bad role to use at all. And speaking of that, a role that I never see anyone use is going to be the introduction of a wide target forward on support. Now, I do understand, we'll quickly do his instructions first. Cross aim centre, get further forwards, and also set to stay wider. I do understand not many players can fulfill this role that well, but we are going to show you some stats of the players that did play in this team with that role, and this position was occupied by Fernan Torres, who's not exactly a big player, but he actually done quite well. So you can use the role. Of course, the bigger your winger is, the better you'd probably see the results. For example, I'm trying to think of a big winger now, but if you think of a big winger in your head, you can obviously get him to flick it on, knock it down. There's loads of options, really. If you want to use this role, I'll try and get a decent sized winger if we're talking about a perfect situation. On the left-hand side, we are going to use a role which I've never really seen anyone use. Is going to be the Ramdeuter, who is simply going to have one instruction, because he is going to be on the attack anyway, that is going to be set to dribble more. So he is naturally going to be roaming, moving into channels, passing it short, getting forwards, sitting quite narrow, a bit of a demon. You could argue play somewhat like an inside forward based off these instructions. Not really the same though, but based off the instructions, a similar sort of vibe. Going up the pitch, we are going to go with the Enganche, who is simply going to be set to support, and he's going to have one instruction, and that is simply going to be get further forwards, get involved in the game, mate. Simple as that. And unfortunately, and this might be where you guys aren't the biggest fans, I did use the advanced forward on dribble more and also shoot more often, because of the unique roles we've got so many, I need one meta position to guarantee the goals going in. If you want to go wild on me, you could try and use a Trickista, you could try and use, all the others are actually quite commonly used. So the only one that could be a real spanner in the works would be that Trickista, but it's completely up to you. For me, I wanted to make sure I was bagging goals. In possession, fairly wide is an absolute must. We're going to pass into the space, a higher tempo, and simply, it's very simply, a shorter passing. We have not overcomplicated this at all, because the player roles themselves add enough complications. I wanted to try and make this tactic not only funny, not only fun to watch, but actually go out and get some results as well, and I feel like we have done that. In transition, again, incredibly simple, counter and counter press. That's literally all we're going to touch. And as for out possession, it's the same story. We are going to deploy the high press with the higher defensive line. We're going to get stuck in and max out that trigger press to much more often. But to the attack and variant, now of course we are going to try and keep it similar. We've got to keep them same player roles in, but we have made some changes. As for the entire back line, I will be honest, we actually go in with an unchanged back line. The Register also remains unchanged, as does the Carrillo as well. What I will say is the real big change here is going to be the attack and wide target forward now. On take more risks, cross aim centre, run wide and also stay wider. The Ramdeuter remains the same, the Enganche also the same, and the advanced forward also the same. But the team instructions. So to start with, in possession, by the way, mentality wise, all done on the attacking once again. This occasion, pass into the space, be more expressive. The passing and the tempo are going to remain exactly the same, but just adding that be more expressive, of course, does help big time. Now, in the attacking version, I did want to get the ball moving a little bit quicker, so we are going to distribute quickly while taking short goal kicks. And of course, we are going to naturally apply the counter and counter press options, because it's what we had in the default version. Out of possession, we are going to go with the high press, and of course the much higher defensive line. We're going to get stuck in, and there's no reason not to. We're going to max out the trigger press as well. And just those few subtle changes did take this tactic from a tactic that was scoring 2.6 to about 3.2 goals a game. Just being more expressive, that player role change as well. Of course, the defensive line also helps. But not only that, also something like this. Just getting the ball moving quickly. You are going to score goals in some highlights where the goalkeeper just pumps it long. So it does help big time. Defensively, for your underdog teams and to seal out a game, the tactic changes a little bit, I will be honest. So the sweeper keeper does remain the same. The libero now goes to defend on tackle harder. The no nonsense remains the same. The inverted wingback or fullback remains the same, as does the left back. The Register, the same. The Carrillo, the same as well. The wide target forward, simply on support. No custom instructions, nicely on the default. The Ramdeuter, simply on the default. No custom instructions. The Enganche, simply on the default. no custom instructions, and the complete forward is now simply replacing that advanced forward that is going to be on shoot more often, because I still want to go out and try and score as many goals as what I can. Now, team instructions, it is going to be the clean slate again on the balanced mentality, and this is where the tactic gets incredibly basic, because the only change here is a little bit of time wasting and simply ticking that down by 1. It's incredibly simple for a very simple tactic. In transition, we're going to counter press, we're going to counter, slow that pace down, play to anyone across the back line while rolling the ball out. Again, a very risk-free element. And lastly, out of possession, the higher defensive line, we're going to deploy the high pressing line of engagement, get stuck in, and also much more often on that trigger press. Now, I will say this tactic is done for a mixture of fun. We're at the end of the game now. We've got a lot more of the game now, so try and have some fun. Use some different player roles, and please let me know if you use any of these player roles anyway, because I know a few people do actually use, obviously, Libero, Regista, Carrillo, and Ganch. I don't know too many people that rock a wide target forward, but please do let me know if you have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Once again, if you want to get a fast download on everything you see here and my rebuilds, you can find me in the description below. But more importantly, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.